The information provided on this podcast is intended to be educational and informational only and is not considered to be formal legal advice. The listener should not take or refrain from taking action based on its content. Any listener in need of legal opinion upon which to rely in decision-making should consider formally engaging an attorney to review relevant facts in detail and examine the pertinent law as it applies to those facts.
Welcome to Real Estate Milestones, where we explore fascinating topics in commercial real estate with knowledgeable industry experts. I'm your host, Ben Malik, and I'm a young real estate professional who is passionate about adding value to people's lives through the incredible power of real estate. My goal is to help you discover what the heck is going on in the industry and how you can get involved. This is Real Estate Milestones, where your future in real estate lies just around the corner. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Real Estate Milestones. Today we have Travis Smith, who is the founder of TribeVest, which is a very exciting piece of technology, or I don't know if you could even just call it a piece of technology, but exciting idea that's seems to be changing the game in real estate. So I'm very excited. And just to give a little more background, I'm someone who is near the start of my career. I haven't amassed a huge amount of capital, but super interested in investing. And Travis is creating a way for someone who might not have the capital to meet some of these really high minimums on these real estate investments, but he allows a way to invest with others. So Travis, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, Ben, good to be here. And absolutely, our solution scales. So if you're early on in your wealth building journey, TribeVest is an awesome, helpful tool. And if you've been, building wealth for decades, people are using TribeVest just to do more faster with the people that they know, like, and trust. So anyway, so glad to be here, Ben, and thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. Let's get into it. So can you tell us a little bit about TribeVest to start?
Yeah, absolutely. So TribeVest is a platform. You can call it a technology. It absolutely is. We're a product company and a technology company that has built a platform that makes it super easy and safe for you to assemble a tribe with people like, and trust, file an LLC, multi-membered LLC entity, open up a business bank account, and be pulling capital so that you can transact together in less than 48 hours. So it's unheard of until TribeVest had kind of streamlined and pieced all these things together. And then on top of it, we give you a single pane of glass dashboard in which all your members can come in and see all their capital contributions, have a record of all the documents, transactions, banking history, and be able to make decisions together. So that's the other key of this, is just being a neutral third party where you can be together with people like, and trust, pull your capital, and invest in things you maybe wouldn't or couldn't on your own.
Yeah, that's an amazing idea. And I heard Ellis was talking to you on a podcast on the future of real estate. He was like, it's a good idea. And you're like, dang, why didn't I start that? Because it's, people have been group investing for forever. And I know, like, all the wealthiest, most successful real estate investors obviously, partner with friends, and even in the startup and, other parts of the entrepreneurial community, people are banding together to pull capital, pull resources, pull knowledge to accomplish a goal together. And the fact that you have a platform that can work for anyone is incredibly powerful. So what's your story? How did you end up at this point?
Yeah, it is funny how many people say, no one else is doing this. And no, we're like, there's other people that are doing other versions of it, but nothing quite like us. And but we're glad to be leading the way. And how it came to be was my brothers and I were in a very same point in our lives and our wealth building journeys as you. We were recently out of college. We were maybe on our first or second job. Maybe one of us had our own homes. Maybe a couple of us were starting our families and were married. But my four brothers and I were searching for ways to build wealth. And because we realized that the jobs we had, we went to good schools, we got good grades, we got, we had a good employment, we had solid W-2s in terms of our income, but we realized it was never going to be enough. It was never going to be enough for true financial freedom. And everybody we knew that was wealthy and had found financial freedom was investing in the private markets, real estate, investing into privately held companies, startups, and other types of alternative and creative investments. And those things are just traditionally inaccessible to most of us. One, you have to find them. You have to know how to network to them. Two, there's a big threshold to be able to invest in those, meaning you need certain amounts of capital to get in. As you know, to invest in real estate syndication, it kind of starts at 25K and goes up to 50K, 100K. Those are the minimums to get in. So all those are kind of non-starters. And, it leaves the rest of us kind of scratching our head saying, like, how are we supposed to break into this? And we were joking before the call in the green room that it's like, well, you wait till you're 50, wait till you've accumulated all these things and, no. And no, you don't need to do that. And my brothers and I figured this out on a fishing trip. We said, listen, let's just form an investor group, form a multi-membered LLC, open up a business bank account, start to pull capital. For us, we were doing $500 a month, which was a stretch at the time, but it was manageable. And over time, we got to 25,000. We did our first deal. We did our next deal. We did our next deal. And we look back, Ben, and we realized that by forming and funding that investor group, we unlocked a future that none of us could have achieved on our own. And it changed our lives.
Yeah,
so we realized firsthand just how powerful it is to band together with your crew.
Yeah, it's super powerful, and especially when these are the people like and trust, and even if you think you have any sort of weakness or maybe a skill that you haven't developed yet, but you can partner with someone who has that and kind of you have other things that they don't have, and just you can kind of create confidence by forming together and making sure like, oh, I think it's a good idea, you also think this is a good idea. Someone's like, oh, it's not the best idea, we address that issue, and now it's like you can do this with, I think, a lot more confidence. Is something that I'm really interested in as I find partners and go forward in my investing career.
Ben, you're nailing it. I mean, like, so much people get caught up on, oh, wow, you can stack capital and you can do it on a regular basis and what that affords. But that's only part of it. Like, you absolutely nailed it. It's those other intangibles, right? Like, my brothers and I, we never were taught how to invest in real estate. Certainly nothing they teach you in school. And the truth is, even if they did, it wouldn't work, right? Because every deal is different. You only learn how to do it by doing it. So here we were, and we said, basically, we're like, between the four of us, we kind of, maybe we'll piece together, we'll be worth one investor. Meaning, like, I wouldn't be able to know how to do it on my own, even if I had the money. But together, that collective group, we're like, we'll figure this out together. It gave us that confidence, right? And we went in knowing that we were going to learn. We weren't going to go out and just crush it. But at the end of our first deal, we were going to have learned something and be able to leverage that to do it again and again and again and do it better, more efficiently. So yeah, you nailed it. It's more than just stacking capital. It's about finding that confidence, spreading the risk, learning together.
Yeah, and I really like that concept of learning together because, I've been going down the rabbit hole of real estate for 3 years, probably by now. And just whenever I have a moment where I'm learning through experience, that's where I really make the most headway, because it's like you start using your skills, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and then you kind of have to adapt versus like, yeah, this makes sense in theory. And then you get down to it and it's like, wait a minute, like I thought I understood this, but you got to use it. And so I think that's one of the most powerful
apply like applications for someone in my position. And if I were to join together with a bunch of friends and learn together, I think that would be incredibly beneficial. I think maybe the return on investment of the knowledge and experience you gain might be more than any investment you invest in.
100%. I mean, you think about my brothers and I's portfolio, right? You could take away the entire portfolio and we would still be wealthy, meaning we now have that experience to be able to go do it again. We can go do it again and again and again. It's that first time doing it, going from that 0 to 1. And, anybody that's thinking about being a real estate investor, you need to be an entrepreneur. You need to be an entrepreneur. So if you were really good at school and, turning in your assignments on time and, reading from a book and then be able to, get a good grade, real estate investing has nothing to do with that. It's important you're smart and you can process and you can learn quickly. But at the end of the day, you're not going to become an expert until you're out there doing it. And the only way to really accelerate it, it's not to go to school and learn about real estate investing. It's do it with others. Like that's how you accelerate it. You do it with others and you learn from each other's mistakes, brainstorming, figuring it out. And then again, you take that with you.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So I'm pretty curious to hear about your first milestone in real estate, or this, it sounds like you started with your brothers, but it sounds like with TribeVest, you've made it much easier it sounds like even in 48 hours, you can form your business and start, an LLC and start working together. But what happened on your first deal? How did that go? And, was there a lot of pain points that you're deciding to fix?
Yeah, great question. So our first deal was kind of a long time in the making. So, we realized we didn't have the capital. So we had good incomes, right? But we didn't have lump sums of money. So our first problem that we needed to solve was how do we get capital so that when opportunity knocks, we can take advantage of it. So the first thing we had to overcome was building capital. So we formed our LLC, opened up the business banking account, set up automatic deposits of $500 each into our tribe's bank account. Between the four of us, that was $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. And over time, but here's the thing. Here's when the aha happened. It was way before the deal because it was like 13, 14 months into us forming our tribe, right? But the magic happened as soon as we opened up that LLC, that business bank account, and we each started putting in $500 a month, $2,000 a month as a group, we became investors. We had capital, we were investing in our tribe, and we were going to keep putting capital in. So, the next problem is once you do have the money, it's like, where do you find the deal? Like, how do you get a good deal? And something magical happens when you have capital and you're out there talking to people about investing. So as soon as we open up that LLC, as soon as we put that capital in, when we were out there networking with our networks, and we were spread all over the country. So we were all doing it, whether it was a barbecue at a buddy's house or a work event or a planned networking event in real estate, whatever it was. For the first time ever, we were saying, hey, I'm a principal and part of an investor group, and we're out there looking for deals right now. So never mind that we had $2,000 in the bank, right? It didn't matter because we were thinking about, well, we're going to have 25K soon. And soon after that, we're going to have 50K. So I want to be out there networking with everybody right now. And I wanted to let everybody know I'm an investor. I'm an investor. And as soon as we started to have that conversation and we, believed it, it's amazing what happens. Like, so there's all these deals around you that you would never know about until you announce to the universe that you're an investor. But as soon as you do, like next thing you know, you're at a party and you're talking about this deal that's an amazing thing around the corner. And, oh, do you want in on it? Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get in on it. And then someone heard you talking to them about it. They're like, well, we're doing a deal over here. And that's how it worked. So, my first milestone was not the deal. It was like convincing myself and putting myself in a position in our tribe to be real estate investors. And so that was huge. The first deal we did was in real estate syndication, and it was a passive investing deal, which is funny because we felt gypped. Like we were so excited about, putting money in a deal. And then of course, kind of the cool thing about passively investing into real estate is you don't have to do anything. Well, we thought we didn't want that. We wanted to learn about the hard stuff. So anyway, the next deal we did a single family rental, and it went great. It was a great learning experience. It was hard, all those things, but we came out of there kind of fully appreciating and understanding what it takes to do a single family rental. And then we got into short-term rentals, and we did a flip, got back into passive investing, so, almost all of our deals that we do, it was less about like how awesome the return would be and more about, oh, this is cool. We can learn about another asset class or, another strategy, whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And what I think is really interesting too is that you guys all had other full-time jobs and W-2 sounds like sources of income. And then you're like, but you still changed. It was the mindset that I am an investor. And it's like, you're an employee, but you're also an investor. And that, that's kind of how it starts. It's like, yeah, you can't kind of just uproot your life and start looking for deals. But, it's kind of sounds like you had a really, that transition was really where the learning happened. And when, I guess the mindset that like, I'm an investor too, I'm looking for deals. And I think that's a powerful way to think about it, that, it doesn't have to be all at once, right? You can have an incremental, I guess, awakening or incremental.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And you're hitting on something else. Like, so to be a serious real estate investor, whatever investor in private markets, like, if you're not doing it full time or, putting a ton of time into it, it's hard, right? And so if you have these other careers that you're doing, it's hard to break in. And that was the other thing about a tribe is we kind of split up the work, right? So probably could have never found the time to be a successful investor on my own. Again, even if I had the capital, because of the due diligence, all those things, and, doing it on my own. Whereas, a group, you break that up, right? Where I don't have time with my job to go out there networking, finding deals. My partner was, and, we were looking and evaluating deals, even though I'm not the one out there, doing the hustle. So yeah, it's just another benefit of group investing.
Yeah, well, that's super powerful. And I want to extend an open invite to all my friends listening to this that it sounded like a good idea. And so could you tell us a little bit more about TribeVest and the platform and kind of, really what's the service you offer and kind of how it works on a, in reality?
Yeah, absolutely. So in minutes, you can come in, you can build your tribe, you name your tribe, give it a mission, determine the goals of the tribe. You can share a plan basically with your friends. So, before you buy, you can kind of socialize it with your tribe. And again, that's all before you're free. So all free before you buy. And then you want to make sure you're aligned. So that's the idea. You go out there and you align and, decide if this is a good idea. Is everybody in a similar situation and everything else? And then it's $29 a month if you buy annually, $39 a month if you do it monthly. and you'll get onboarded by our onboarding specialist, and they walk you through filing your LLC, opening up a business bank account, establishing the rules of the game, which are basically your operating agreement, configuring your operating agreement. More important than the rules are the rules up front. So that's how you make group investing safe, is you establish everything up front. So when things do happen, it's not how do we handle this and it gets emotional. It's, oh, like, how did we say we would handle this? Okay, that's it. Let's go. So, that's all part of the onboarding, setting up the business bank account, agreeing on the initial contributions, maybe the ongoing contributions. And again, from the time you buy to the time that you have a business bank account and they're actually pulling capital could be as short as 48 hours.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a lot of progress has been made since you originally started with this, with TribeVesting with your friends and your brothers. Sound like
No doubt. It took like 3 months to open up a business bank account as a multi-membered LLC, and we weren't all in the same place to sign the banking paperwork. So yeah, from 2 months to 48 hours, it's actually pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I was wondering if there's a, $29 a month sounds fairly reasonable for the value and all the things that all the problems that you solve. But I wondered if there's like a specific, just I guess maybe this would be your opinion, but a specific amount of an investment that would, I guess make it practical to have the service.
Yeah, great question. Really good question. It depends on your goals, right? But, I think probably an investment where you're pulling together 5 or 10 grand to do, starts to make sense. And if you want to use it for a different application and maybe do it a little less, you can let me know, because we're all about, just getting people started in collaborative investing that are getting started in their wealth journey. So if that doesn't make sense, like we're actually thinking about creating a scholarship program, but most of our tribes, are doing $10,000-$15,000 deals at the low end. And then, we have tribes that are doing million plus deals too. So, but you're right. I mean, on the lower kind of thresholds, you start to think about, well, is it worth it? And I think the question is well, is the reason you're doing it for the return? Or is it so that you can start to work together? You can start to learn together. And if you look at it like that, it's like, well, is $29 a month worth it? That's kind of how you gotta think about it.
Yeah. The way I asked the question, I was thinking about it like, okay, it's you're putting it into the cash flow model. Like, is it affecting the return on investment? But honestly, like, as we say, an investment in yourself and an investment in learning has an unlimited return on investment potentially. And especially given that maybe you couldn't have done it at all in the first place. Now, the fact that it just eliminates the main barrier of entry, which might be time, might be skills that you lack that your friends have, but the fact that you can bring them together, that's super powerful. But what I really wanted, another thing I'm really curious about is, I know we talked a lot about real estate, but what are some other applications or investments, or even just, maybe some things that are a little bit outside the box that your clients have done with TribeVest, and, maybe give some other people some ideas for ways that they can group together?
Yeah, I mean, TribeVest is deal agnostic, so you're not going to find any deals on our platform. It's all about protecting the tribe and the relationships and the individual members in those tribes, and making it really easy to transact anywhere on and off the internet for your deals. So, they're invested in everything. So, the breadth of real estate. People investing in real estate syndications. People are doing active real estate investing, flipping, short-term rentals, long-term rentals. You kind of name it. Vacation homes are kind of a big one for people coming together and wanting to use it for mixed, shared use, and also be able to cash flow it with short-term rentals. So the real estate applications there's just so many, but people are coming together to build lending products. I know that's something that, but like they become basically hard money lenders in a lot of cases to themselves or people they know. So they're just creating a lending service. That's a cool one. A lot of people investing in, Bitcoin and other Web3, blockchain technologies, whether it's a syndication or whatever it might be. And some of those have high thresholds to invest into and others don't. But I think what's so cool is people are out there saying, hey, like, I don't understand it. I want to learn about it. Like, let's do it together. People are investing in racehorses together. They're investing in cars together. They're collectible cars or cars they want to use, RVs, boats, art, collectibles, wine, whiskey. I mean, man, it's so cool. Like that's what's so cool about it. When you have capital, you can invest in things that you understand and things that you're passionate about, right? It's like if I'm in Columbus, Ohio, the best real estate deal may or may not be in Manhattan, which is where you're sitting. I'm looking out over your shoulder, man. It's incredible, right? Mm-hmm. Now, so like, well, what do you mean by that? You mean Manhattan, there's not a better place for real estate? Well, maybe, but if I'm from Columbus and there's a lot or a building or a house around the corner from me, that's the best deal for me because it's familiar. I understand it. I get it. And so when I have that capital, I can go participate in those deals. So anyway, just a little more perspective there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I thought another thing that's pretty interesting was that you don't have to with TribeVest there. You have maybe it's an algorithm that allows if there's distributions that go into the LLC into the fund that you create, that you actually have your platform would actually disperse them in the correct proportions to the members of the partnership.
That's right. Yeah, we manage the cap ownership equity table. And so, and that's based on how you set the tribe up. A lot of tribes, it's just pro rata based on how much you put in, your capital is how much you own of the tribe, and therefore how much the tribe LLC owns of the investment that it's investing in. But yeah, absolutely. So when there's distributions, an exit, whatever it is, makes it really easy to calculate and distribute those profits in a really manageable, organized way.
And yeah, it's pretty helpful. And I guess from like a compliance or regulation side, do you hold the files, track things that would be needed to track that we might not even know about if we're just starting out?
Yeah, I mean, what's cool is, we're not helping investors put together a real estate syndicate, meaning, you have to file with the SEC and you're going out and, marketing to accredited investors or whatever it is. We're just helping you form a multi-membered partnership business. And anybody can do that, right? So there's no big regulations there in terms of filing with the SEC or whatever else. We've just made it so simple. Now, that being said, when you do form a partnership, you do need to operate in a certain way to make sure that, you are living up to the standards and rules of whatever state you have your LLC in. And in most cases, that means like, well, are you having a quarterly meeting? Do you have records of the minutes? Do you have an operating agreement? Those things. And all those tools are right on your dashboard. So anytime, you're like, hey, are we in compliance and actually operating like an LLC partnership? And, yeah, absolutely. You have records of everything. Your any major votes, you're casting your vote there on the dashboard, etc.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, this has been super exciting and learned a lot about TribeVest, but you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah, bring it. Let's do it.
Awesome. So if you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
I think persistence, perseverance, I think is the most valuable thing you can have in life. And I like to think, I have those things, but if it was a true superpower and I just always had it, that would be incredible. I think it's one of the most important things to somebody's success out there.
Awesome. And so do you have a favorite book, or is there one that's helped you the most in your journey so far?
Yeah, two of them, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, definitely game changer. Robert Kiyosaki, timeless and, game changer. And then, I am the founder and CEO of TribeVest, which is a fast growing startup software company. And the book that was most helpful for me for doing that is a book called The Lean Startup. And it's all about your approach and mentality and expecting to be wrong and learning from that and continuing to push, build, measure, learn. You build, you measure, get the feedback, learn, and then do it again.
Awesome. That one's I just added that to my list this weekend. That's really funny. So what motivates you to continue every day?
On the positive side of things, legacy, my family. I have two boys, one's 14, one's 10. And, as a parent, you want to have them understand that anything's possible. They can do anything they set their mind to, right? And it's easy to say those things. It's another thing to live it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm living it. I'm setting my mind to something, big dream, and going out there and leading and showing that, no, if you want to, you can. So it's legacy. It's making sure I'm making an impact on the people around me. And I think that's what drives me. The other thing is fear, fear of, not doing those things, right? And I talk about burning the boats and, no turning back, right? No turning back. So that's if I'm just completely honest.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really powerful. And what advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps? Or if you want to take this more specific route, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start something from scratch, do something big like you?
Yeah, I think, go out and make mistakes, and look and just be comfortable with failure. Those types of things. I think another useful thing is if you can find somebody that is a step or two or three ahead of you and form a friendship, maybe even solicit a mentorship, even if it means working for free, whatever it is, you can really learn a lot from people that are just a little bit ahead of you.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And lastly, if you have put you on the spot, so I want to give you a chance for revenge. So you have any questions for me?
Yeah. So you're going into your senior year, right? So where do you see yourself a year from now?
Yeah, it's a good question and something I'm trying to figure out by exploring my internship and, seeing what it's like to work at a big company where we got a lot of resources and a lot of, smart people who've been here a while. And so we're either, if I end up staying in a big company or finding myself somewhere in the industry in that way, either way, I want to keep my interest in real estate investing and building passive cash flow and investing as, at the forefront as well. So either way, I think in a year from now, I'll have had my first deal, if not more than one. And I think it's going to be a lot of learning and maybe some failure, but hopefully mostly learning and growth and success. So that's what I'll know for sure.
The only way you learn is through failure. So, I mean, it's pain plus reflection equals growth. So you got to go out there and find the pain, the failure, the learning. So, but no, I was glad to hear you say, you hope to have one deal, and don't try to do too much, right? So find out, start to drive towards that deal, get one deal done. And that'll be a lot, man, because the first one is the hardest. And once you do that, 2 is easy, right? 3 is easier. 5 is easier. So do the one, man. Do the one.
Sounds good. And maybe I'll get in touch with you for that one. See how maybe we could partner with TribeVest. And I guess the last thing I want to know from you is what is TribeVest, or what do you see TribeVest becoming in its final form?
Yeah. So there's, in the future, collaborative investing, doing things as a group, it's just the advantages are indisputable, right? We can do more together. We can go further together. I mean, it's true in everything, right? Everything except wealth building for kind of average Americans. The wealthy, yeah, that's how they're building more and more wealth. And the question is can we make it easy and safe that everybody is practicing collaborative investing? And the answer is yes. If you go out 10 years from now, collaborative investing is absolutely going to be a standard. And the question is who's the company that's going to have led the way? And that's TribeVest. That's TribeVest. So we got a lot of work to do, but we're committed to it. And that's our purpose in the world. So you don't always have to go it alone.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for that feature and excited to see where you guys go. Well, where can people find out more about you? And TribeVest.com, I know is a good place to start, but if they want to learn more about you, where else can they go?
Yeah, TribeVest.com. LinkedIn is probably where I'm the most active. So follow me. And that's probably the best place for me. Twitter, not as big of a following, not as active, but that's TribeTrav. So TribeTrav at Twitter. And then just search me on LinkedIn, Travis Smith, TribeVest, and follow me there. That's where I'm most active.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. And I'm excited for people to learn more about you and about TribeVest. And hopefully our minds have been open to, what we can do together, because I know it's a collaborative business with a lot of potential with partnerships. And I think it's great that there's a platform where people can explore this to the full potential. So thanks for that contribution, and thanks for coming on the show.
Right on, Ben. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Keep making milestones.